So guys, if you clicked on this video, you have to be wondering, what do I wish I knew when I was this skinny fat Daniel on the left? As you can see, I'm not fat, but I have no muscle definition whatsoever. Look at my back. It's just there. I look like a sack of potatoes. There's no definition. I'm skinny. Compared to me on the right, this is me now. I'm ripped. I'm lean. I have the V-line, the abs, I have my dream physique. Right? And then there's a picture of my back just to compare it. I mean, I have the V-taper, I have the shoulders and the lats developed. Amazing. I'm super happy with where I'm at. So this is what I wish I knew when I was this dude on the left so I could get here much quicker and just much better. So let's kick it off. So the first thing is that skinny fat is actually a blessing in disguise. A lot of people don't realize this, but your body actually wants to adapt. Your body likes to adapt to its circumstances. So when you have a skinny fat physique, that's an indicator of a physically easy lifestyle. That doesn't really require a lot of muscle exertion, right? If you're skinny, I mean, keep in mind when I was skinny fat, I was doing some cardio. I'd play basketball with my friends occasionally, and I would play video games, and that was basically my life. Like, I would do some work, but essentially it was just video games and maybe a bit of cardio, and my body was a direct reflection of that lifestyle. There's no need for any muscle here, which is why there's no definition. Your body's good at adapting. So the reason I say skinny fat is a blessing in disguise is so if you can stimulate that muscle growth, if you can provide that stimulus through weightlifting, which I'll talk about later on, if you can train to failure, give your muscles a reason to grow, well, then they will grow. If you incorporate lifting weights, taking your muscles to failure multiple times per week, your body is going to adapt. Your body is going to respond to that stimulus in the form of growing strength, growing muscle, building out your physique. The second thing is that your dream physique is not under the body fat. As you can see, this is me. Here, I'll shrink my face. This is me on the left, I'm 155 pounds, and this is me on the right, 165 pounds. So I'm 10 pounds heavier. And if you watch my other video, I think like the last video I posted where I go through the 3 phases of skinny fat, you understand sort of what it's like. But this is me at 155 pounds. And keep in mind, I started at actually 175 pounds, and I still look the same. I lost 20 pounds. I look like this. It's like, what do I do now? Do I keep cutting into the 140s? Clearly, it's not giving me any definition. You have to, it's a combination of things I'll talk about later on, but lifting weights, still burning the fat, but prioritizing building muscle while you're doing that. That is truly the key. There's a big misconception because I did end up cutting down to like 145 and I still looked the same. It wasn't until I incorporated lifting weights and training my muscles to failure and eating high protein that I got that ripped dream physique. This is me only 9 months later of incorporating those things. So it's crazy how fast your life can change. So the third thing I wish I knew was that I thought I was actually a lot closer than I thought I was. I don't know. Probably just a combination of just self-limiting beliefs and just not really having any knowledge about fitness. But this is me in June of 2021, 175 pounds. Like I told you, I lost 20 pounds. This is me in September of that same year. This is me 2 months later. If you would have told this Daniel that in 2 months he was going to have abs and this defined physique, given it is under good lighting, and like he wouldn't have believed you, like he would have been shocked, right? And then this is me a few months later, or 1 month later actually, at the same weight, just a little more shredded. And it's just crazy. Like I didn't realize I was really only about 25 pounds and 25 pounds of fat loss away and like 2 months of lifting weights away from basically my dream physique. Obviously, the physique I have now is more of my dream physique, but this was my goal from when I was just a child, just to have abs, just to have muscle definition, you know what I mean? And the fourth thing is that eating healthy will not get you ripped. This is a big misconception I see a lot of people make, and I used to make it, thinking that just eating healthy, making these traditionally healthier choices, is going to get you this lean, ripped physique. And the reason they think this is because they see people on social media and they're like these runners, these athletes who have been working out for like decades, and they ask like, oh, well, what do you eat? Oh, I eat healthy, I eat, whole foods and whatnot. And they're like, okay, well, if I do that, I'll get the same results. I'll get that lean, athletic, aesthetic look. That is not what's going to happen. You're just going to become more and more skinny fat. You're not going to have any definition, because the truth is, which I talk about a little later on, is that fitness is an equation. The quality of the food you have, it doesn't matter if you have a steak or 2 protein bars. Your body's going to respond to just seeing 44 grams of protein enter your body and going to respond accordingly. Now, obviously, there's external benefits to having whole food, but when we're specifically talking about recomposing your body, and what I mean by that, because I used to not even know what that means, composition, what your body is composed of, and we're referring to fat and muscle mass, right? So in order to recomp your body, it's solely a numbers game. It's not a quality. It doesn't matter how nice the food is you're having. It just matters what you're eating, how many calories, protein, carbs, and fat you consume. The fifth thing is that you, like I was just alluding to, you need to train like a natural bodybuilder, not an athlete. A lot of people mess this up. A lot of people hear bodybuilder and they think of Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler, these dudes who, yeah, they had good training routines, but they were blasting steroids to the point where they look like the Hulk. They look like they're, a skinny dude wearing this big muscle costume, like that episode of SpongeBob where he was like pumping up his biceps. It's not aesthetic. We all know that's not aesthetic. But their training is ideal. Because think about it. What is bodybuilding? Bodybuilding is the sport of building your body as aesthetically as possible. Now, obviously, those professional bodybuilders and non-natural bodybuilders, they take it to a whole nother level. But natural bodybuilders is oftentimes what you guys are looking for. And you just don't know it because you haven't really researched natural bodybuilding. But you want to build your body as aesthetically as possible. And this is what it looked like when I was training like an athlete. When I was doing cardio like 4 or 5 times a week and I was eating healthy. It didn't work because it wasn't a formula. It was abstract. I was just throwing things at the wall and seeing what stick. It wasn't a proven formula that I could say, okay, I did this every single day. Or I did this today. It's going to get me closer to my goal. I was just, I'll eat healthy. I'll do some cardio and I hope it works. No. That's not how you get ripped. That's not how my clients get ripped. That's not how I got ripped. You see me on the right? This was not from rolling the dice and hoping it worked. It was from a proven formula. And if you watching this video, you want that proven formula, there's a link in the description for you to book a call with me and we can get a game plan down and actually help you transform your life. But it just goes to prove the point that fitness is an equation, which I'm pretty sure I talk about in the next slide, is that I knew I wasn't stupid. Once I understood that fitness was an equation, I was like, okay, this is easy. Because once I understood that, even like at something as simple as just losing fat, if you eat less calories than you burn every single day, than you use every single day, you will lose fat. It is thermodynamics. You would be an alien not to, because every single human who has ever done this has lost body fat. And I used to not even understand this because I didn't know what these terms meant. So when I say calories, I just mean energy. We all know our body is using energy to survive. And then when it used to say like burned in a day or used in the day, I would think like, oh, well that means how much like cardio they're doing or how much exercise they're doing. And I don't know if I can commit to that much exercise. That's not what it means. It just means how much energy you're using at a foundational level. When it comes to just me making this video is requiring energy. Me looking around, me making this slideshow, typing on my computer required energy. When I go to the gym, that also requires energy. When I go for a walk, that also requires energy. But regardless, there is a baseline level of energy that your body needs every single day, even if you just laid in bed. And that's 70% of the total amount of energy you're going to use in that day. So let's say you have a crazy day, you go on a run, you lift weights. No matter what, let's say in that day you burn 3,000 calories, 2,200 of those calories are just going to come from you existing, your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your body digesting, all these different things. And I didn't understand that. I thought it all stemmed from exercise. But once I understood that, I could just eat less calories than my total baseline and guarantee fat loss. That really motivated me because I was like, I'm not stupid. I can do this. And obviously, as I say here, you want to combine it with 1 gram of protein per pound you weigh because, we don't want to focus solely on weight loss here. We want to focus on fat loss while building muscle. And that's going to be acquired by having 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. So if you weigh 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein every single day. If you don't know how, you can watch my video where I talk about exactly what like a day in the life looked like when it came to eating protein. And then when it comes to muscle growth, we need to lift weights 8 to 12 sets per week per muscle group to failure. So like I said, if you're like confused on how to actually implement this, just book a call with me in the description and we can chop it up and I can see if I can help you out. Next up, the most important thing that separated me from everybody else who failed, let's just get this out of the way. Every single person you see in society has failed on their fitness journey, if they're not either currently in shape or in the process of getting in shape. Think about that. There is not one single person that you see in public who never went on a fitness journey, who never wanted to get in shape. It's impossible. Every single person at some point in their life has committed to some sort of fitness journey, even if it was just a week and they fell off track and never picked it up again. Right? So the underlying variable is consistency. It's consistency. The reason I got to where I'm at is because I was extremely consistent. And that's not to say I was perfect, because I was such a... I consistently failed, but I consistently showed up. And that's bred by being focused. Every morning I woke up with the thought in my head of, I need to get in shape. Essentially, that was like the thought. I was like, I need to track my food because I need to lose this weight. It became a part of me, right? And that bred the consistency to track my food every single day, to lift weights a few times per week, to get good sleep and just do all these little things that move the needle to me getting to my goal. And then when it comes to more of a tactical side, protein is really going to be that thing that moves the needle. When I was just talking about calories before, I wish I knew how important protein was earlier on, because I would have gotten to my goal much faster. I still had a pretty fast transformation, but it could have been a lot faster. In the beginning, I was so focused on losing fat because I thought my dream physique was under the body fat, to the point where I would maybe get like 50, 60, 70, 80 grams of protein in per day. But I would just solely focus on calorie-sparse foods like watermelon, fruits, chicken, things like that. I didn't realize how important protein is. So I would essentially just focus solely on eating in a calorie deficit. That was my only thought in my head, because I didn't know what type of impact protein made. And then once I understood that, the progress became much better. The 9th thing I wish I knew is that lifting weights... this is probably earlier on. I wish I knew that lifting weights is so much better than cardio. I don't know. I had this thought in my head. I think it stems back to like what I was saying when I said like train like a bodybuilder, not like an athlete. I had this thought in my brain that if I didn't do any cardio and I just jumped into lifting weights, then I would get like me on the top right here. Like I would be all like fat and bulky. I mean, like I wouldn't say like I'm objectively fat here, but like for my standard, yeah, I would say I'm fat. I was probably like 20% body fat here. But the reality is, this is what happens when you lift weights. Fat loss only comes from your diet. Cardio really doesn't have an impact. I've gone periods where I do cardio, I do no cardio. It doesn't matter. As long as my diet is dialed in, that's the underlying variable. That's an independent variable. And my expectation was I was going to get this ripped physique from doing cardio and eating healthy, and that just made me skinny fat. So expectation versus reality. You guys have seen this sort of template before. The next thing is that if you're not tracking, you're slacking. And I mean tracking diligently. One of the things I picked up earlier on when I was saying before, I quickly understood that fitness was an equation, but what I didn't realize was how poorly I was tracking. Because I just wasn't weighing out my food. That was really it. Like I would track everything I did eat, but I wouldn't track it to the extent where I would look like I'm somebody who really wants to see the exceptional results. Right? Like I would track the big meals, I would track the snacks, but I wouldn't track that little bite that I had, or it's just a little bit, I don't have to track it, or this looks like it's about 1 cup, maybe 3 tablespoons, I'm not sure, I'm just going to input it as this. It's like, just track it. Just weigh it out. And then you can guarantee how many calories you're having per day. That was something I didn't understand until like 2 years into my fitness journey, and I realized, looking back, I was having like 200, 300, 400 more calories per day on average than I thought I was, which was a big component or a big contributor to me not seeing the progress as fast as I wanted to, and me hitting weight loss plateaus and all these things. So, former Daniel, get a weight scale, take that extra step, stop being lazy, and track your food diligently. The 11th thing is that when you're in the gym, you need to give your muscles a reason to grow. Like I was saying before, there's no more 4 sets of 12. I don't know where this came from, but it's not good for getting your dream physique. We need to give your muscles a reason to grow with a low volume, high intensity approach. What do I mean by that? When I say low volume, that refers to the amount of sets you're doing in the gym for that day, but mainly for the week. Like how many sets you're doing per muscle group to failure per week. And I'll give you an example what this actually looks like. Let's say for the week, I want to do 8 sets of my chest to failure for the whole week, right? And let's say I'm hitting 2 chest days in the week. So whatever I do in these chest days has to add up to 8 sets to failure for my pecs. Okay, so let's say on day 1 chest day, I do 2 sets of dumbbell incline bench and I do 2 sets of dips. On my second chest day, I do the same thing. That's 4 sets for each workout, combined 8 sets total for the week. That's golden. That's right in the golden zone of about 8 to 12 sets to failure. And that's not necessarily saying like doing 12 sets makes you the hardest worker and makes it the best results. It's really just what you notice you see the most progress with. But like I was saying before, like your body wants to adapt. Your body wants to grow. You have to give it a reason to. It's very simple, but it's definitely hard, but it's simple. It's essentially like just train to failure. Like you just train to the point where you physically can't get that last rep up. That's a perfect way to stimulate muscle growth. Whoops. Number 12, don't neglect your testosterone. Looking back, I made this mistake. Obviously, I still had a transformation. I still got in shape, but I think I could have optimized it. I'm confident I could have optimized things if I didn't neglect my testosterone. And what I mean by this is I would get trash sleep. I would get 8 hours of sleep maybe like twice a week, and then the other nights I would be playing video games late at night. I would be scrolling on TikTok or watching YouTube videos or watching movies, and I would get like 5, 6, 6.5 hours of sleep. And that has a direct correlation to your testosterone. Like I was a young dude. Like there's no need for me to have the testosterone of a 50-year-old dude, right? Like I should be pumping. I should feel like I have lightning going through my veins, right? But I was hindering myself because I wasn't cognizant of it, right? And so sleep is where your testosterone will be produced. But in order to give your body the resources to produce it, we need to have about 40% of your body weight worth of healthy fats. So essentially, just do 0.4 times insert how many pounds you weigh. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds. You do 0.4 times 200 equals 80. That's how you know how many grams of healthy fats to eat per day. And you can get these from eggs, avocado, guacamole, nuts. Pretty simple. 13, use friction. This one is huge. I don't know why I kept my vices so close to me for so long for no reason, and all it did was hinder me. I would say my biggest vice, my biggest temptation was candy. It was that was the biggest thing for me up until about July of 2022 when I just stopped having candy. I just made the commitment to stop having it altogether. But I would keep it around my house. Sometimes I'd ask my dad to get it. And it's why am I doing that when I could just you need to use friction to your advantage. And what I mean by friction is discomfort or effort, right? Think about it like this. If I'm hungry, if I'm laying in bed late at night and I'm starving, and I know I have a bowl of watermelon 5 feet in front of me, a big bowl of watermelon, or I have a bag of Sour Patch Kids, but they're in my car, which is parked a 5-minute walk away. Do I really want to give the effort and go through the discomfort of walking, leaving the comfort of my own room, going outside, doing all this, walking to my car, coming back? No. And that's not because I'm lazy. It's just that's what human behavior is. We don't like pain. We don't like discomfort. So we're going to tend to do things that are as seamless as possible. So for instance, if there's something that very much tempts you, keep it as far away from you as possible. Make it as hard for you to access that thing. But most importantly, add a great substitute or a great alternative much closer, or that's much more easy to access. Like I was saying, I would keep watermelon. Or if you think about it for going to the gym, For me now, like, I don't necessarily have a problem going to the gym. I often get excited for it, but it wasn't always like this. So something I could do looking back, if I was struggling, I would go to sleep in my gym clothes, and then I would just wake up and go to the gym. I mean, that's what I do now, to be honest. I do go to sleep and then just wake up and go to the gym, but it's not because I struggle with the discipline. It's just like that's what I like to do. But use friction to your advantage. If you have that one food that every time you see it, you just go crazy, don't keep it in your house. And instead, keep a alternative in your house. If candy makes you go crazy, keep fruit in your house. If pretzels or Takis, hot Cheetos, potato chips, if you see those and you just lose all self-control, keep them as far away from you as possible. And things you could keep much closer are like pickles or diet soda, or there's protein chips or popcorn. That's a great option, actually. Skinny Pop popcorn, things like that, dude. It's like 14. Progress is the biggest motivator, but the thing to understand here is that you're only going to you're only going to experience this after you've used your discipline muscle. And I'll talk about discipline in the next slide, but essentially everybody goes through this hump. I made a video on this before, but everybody in their journey goes over this hump. This initial starting period is when it's just like initial motivation everyone gets for like the first 2 weeks, and then it dies out. And then this long stretch is what separates 99% of people from the rest. You see in public how many people are ripped. Very little. It's because 99% of people give up during this phase where they're working hard without seeing the results. Working just as hard as the people with the results. Keep that in mind. But they don't see the results, so their brain is like, we're experiencing pain and we're not getting any benefit from it. So why are we doing it? Let's quit. And this is the part where your brain rewires, and then you get over this hump. Just straight discipline, just by doing the thing you don't want to do when you know you have to do it, you get the results, and then you have infinite motivation and momentum. Me seeing this transformation makes me want to go hit the gym now. Like, that's what the point I'm at. Your pain and pleasure will switch. I'll talk about this later on, but progress is the biggest motivator. And if you can get over this hump, when you get over this hump and you see the really fast results, it'll motivate you to sustain it for the rest of your life. Your identity will switch. You'll no longer even relate to the former version of yourself, the version of yourself you were 6 months ago, and you'll only start to relate to the best version of yourself. Number 15, discipline is not a reliable, and it's also not an infinite resource. So a lot of people, this even ties back to what I was just saying. Discipline is a tool that is used in this phase of your journey, but it's not the main driver in this phase. The main driver in this phase is just having higher standards for yourself. But the only way to bring yourself up to a higher standard is through discipline. That is the main tool. But once you're at that level, once going to the gym is just as second nature as brushing your teeth every morning, it doesn't require effort. It doesn't require discipline to brush your teeth every morning. You just do it, And that's the same thing. That's what's going to happen with going to the gym or eating healthy, tracking your food, whatever you struggle with right now. Once you use discipline enough times with enough repetition for a long enough period of time, eventually it'll be pushed to a concrete standard for you. And then it won't require discipline. It won't require as much effort. And it's just important to keep this in mind, because you're not going to hate it forever. I love going to the gym now. There are obviously some days where I really don't want to, and I do it anyways. So it's not like discipline completely goes out the window, but it's not the main driver. I'm at the point now where I can sustain this without much discipline, because I rewired my standards for myself, essentially. The next thing, you don't have to be your best self every single day. You just have to do what's required. You have to track your food, hit your lifts when you schedule them, hit your protein goal. But you don't have to be like the best version of yourself 100%. I'm actually going to skip to the next one now because it also applies. You don't have to be 100% of the best version of yourself every single day. You just have to give it all you got. Some days you're only going to have 30% to give, and you just have to be okay with that. Some days you're going to fail. Some days you're going to go over your calorie limit a little bit. Some days you're going to get trash sleep. Some days you're going to go into the gym and you're just going to be significantly weaker than you were last week for some reason. And you just have to be okay with that. You just have to understand that consistency is not being perfect every single day, and consistent growth isn't a direct upward trend. It's like this. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it staggers. So you have to just be at peace with that and understand you're not going to be perfect every single day. You're most of the time you're not going to be perfect. Maybe once a year you'll have a crazy good day, but most of the time, what will separate you from the other people that you don't want to be like is just simply showing up and doing what's required. 18. If you're failing, you're doing it right. This even just ties back to what I was just saying. And I'd even go further. If you're not failing, you're not even trying. If you're not having slip-ups, if you're not slacking off and then feeling guilty, feeling like a loser, regretting it afterwards, if you're not giving in your temptations and then getting up the next day and trying again and then falling down but getting back up, you're not even trying. That is the name of the game, bro. That is what, like, the amount of times where I was laying in bed at night after a killer day and I was just so hungry and I was like, oh, well, I deserve this junk food. So I go downstairs and I have a bag of candy and I'm like, oh, well, what's the point at this point? I just ruined all my progress. And then I go ham and then I have another bag of chips and then I have a whole container of peanut butter and then I just keep going more and more and more and continue to self-sabotage myself. You're doing it right if you're at that point. Like, everybody goes through that. Everybody. And I'm not encouraging you go through that voluntarily, but you just have to be at peace with that being a part of the journey. 19. The confidence that you're looking for, and this is specific to the former version of Daniel, the confidence you truly want is actually not going to come from the physique, You may think once you have the abs, once you have the muscle definition, once you have my physique, you're going to just be confident because you look really good and because other people approve of that or people find you attractive. The confidence is going to come from you being the person who consistently, day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month, year after year after year, made commitments to himself and fulfilled it. Did the hard thing when everybody else was going down the easy path, the path of least resistance, and then hating on you for going down the hard path. That is what's going to make you confident. Seeing the results in the end after suffering, after feeling lonely, after feeling like nobody gets you, after feeling like everybody's rooting on your downfall, overcoming all of those obstacles and still seeing the results in the end is what's going to give you that confidence. And another thing is that you're never going to be able to fake it. You're not going to fool yourself into feeling confident. A lot of these guys you see on social media, they're on podcasts, they're like, you just have to tell yourself you're confident, you have to believe you're confident, and then you're just going to be confident. You're not going to fool yourself, bro. If you know you've been slacking off, you're not going to feel confident. You're going to feel like a loser because you are a loser. You're only going to feel confident when you have something to be confident about. When you feel like somebody could look at your life 24/7 and be like, that dude's a killer. That dude's a beast. That's what's going to make you confident. Number 20, stay humble. And I love this quote. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. This is a quote from the Bible. I don't know exactly where in the Bible it is. It's in the New Testament, but those who humble themselves will be exalted. If you don't know what exalted means, it means being held to like a high regard, right? So those who think they're the man will be humbled by God. But those who humble themselves and give all their glory to God will be held to that high regard in heaven and in society. So understand this, especially when you're going through a transformation where you're going to go from somebody who is hated on, disrespected, and then you change your life, you become unrecognizable. It's going to be very tempting to go and hate on all these dudes, but you have to also understand that hate only comes from within. Another quote from the Bible, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Which means whatever comes out of here is just flowing in here. Whatever energy is being casted out of here is just felt deep down within. And that's important to understand, not only for your experience in interacting with other people, but also for self-awareness. When you find yourself hating on people, ask yourself, why do you hate yourself? What about that person do you see yourself in their shoes and that makes you hate yourself? I guarantee you every single time you feel like hating on somebody, it's It's self-hatred, essentially. You're pointing, you're seeing parts about yourself that you hate in other people, and it's making you hate towards them, but it's all coming from within. So anytime you notice that, and the only reason I noticed that is because when I was in love, I noticed all I wanted to do was spread love to other people, and that was my light bulb moment where I realized the reason I've been hating, the reason I've been mad is because I didn't like myself. And I saw parts about myself that I didn't like in other people, and I would project my hatred towards them. 21. Every failure is a test. This one's big. God is protecting you from the results and the life that you want. The life that you dream of. You may pray to God at night, God, please have me wake up with a six-pack. I promise I'll start lifting weights again. I promise I'll start getting in the gym consistently and doing more cardio. I just need to make this happen. God isn't not giving that to you because He's cruel. No, He wants to see you suffer first. That's not the sole reason. It's because He is protecting you, because He knows that if He were to snap His fingers and give it to you, it would destroy you. It would destroy you. You don't have the habits down. You haven't passed the test yet. The test is living the lifestyle before the results. That's what the test is. Can you live the lifestyle before you see the results for a long enough period of time? That's the test. If you can pass that test, God will give you the results you're looking for. Guaranteed. But the reason you don't have what you want right now is because you don't deserve it. And God is protecting you. And if you had it, it would destroy you. If God, let's say, snapped His fingers, bro, I would lose that physique within a month. Within a month, I would be 5% body fat higher. My body fat would be 5% higher. Next month, same thing, right? Like, it would just downward spiral. I would get discouraged because I lost the results. I wouldn't know what to do, and then I wouldn't have the standards down. I wouldn't have any discipline. I would lose it. It would just be a downward spiral. Within 6 months, I would look the same again. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you are failing. Understand what part of my dream, ask yourself, what part of my dream life is God preparing me for? That's the perspective you have to be in. When you fail, when you have those screw-ups, those slip-ups, where you feel all guilty afterwards, ask yourself, what will overcoming this teach me? What aspect of my dream life will overcoming this hurdle prepare me for? That's truly a wise and profound perspective to have. 22. Your pain and pleasure will switch. I was talking about this earlier, but this is Daniel on the left. He gets green ring represents pleasure, red ring represents pain. The green ring, Daniel gets a lot of pleasure from eating these Sour Patch Kid watermelon candies, from playing video games all day and leveling up in the video game, from eating pizza. I have pictures in my phone of me laying in bed with a Domino's box of wings and a Domino's box of a whole deep dish pizza, and I would eat the entire pizza while I watched TV. He would get a lot of pleasure from that. He would get a lot of pain from avoiding this junk food and eating healthy food instead, like fruits, vegetables, chicken, grilled chicken. Ew, give me some Sour Patch Kids, right? Going to the gym, pushing himself. But things have changed. Now I get pleasure, genuine pleasure. A lot of people don't realize this. When I say genuine pleasure, I mean I get as much pleasure from doing these things as much as the former version of Daniel gets from playing video games all day and eating that entire deep dish pizza. A lot of people think that when I'm talking about when I say I get pleasure from working out, they think they relate it to into their own perspective. They think, oh, well, he's just talking about how when you don't want to go to the gym and you do it and you feel good about yourself afterwards. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about me genuinely feeling excited to go to the gym the way you genuinely feel excited when that pizza man knocks on your door, rings your doorbell, and you go down and get the pizza. It's the same level of happiness, of excitement, of pleasure. And inversely, it's the same level of pain. The same level of pain you get, or the former version of Daniel gets, when he has to go to the gym, is the same amount of pain and guilt I would feel if I had to go play video games. If I ate a whole pizza, bro, I would feel terrible. I don't want to do it genuinely Like, yeah, pizza tastes good, but I can't even fathom eating an entire pizza, eating an entire bag of candy. Playing video games. I mean, like, I've played video games and like back in like November or December or something, and I just felt guilty the whole time. I was like, bro, I need to build my business. Like, I need to, like, I'm a man. Like, why am I playing video games right now? I need to be building an empire. My pain and pleasure have switched. And you can get to this point once you get over that hump that I was talking about before. 23. There's beauty in the struggle. Truly, guys, like, you may not realize it yet, and I'm just going to frame this as if I'm talking to the former version of Daniel. You don't realize this yet, Daniel, but those nights that you are extremely stressed, that you got trash sleep and you have to wake up early, that you binged on that entire bag of candy and you feel guilty, you feel horrible, you feel like this reinforces your identity of being a loser, you're going to look back at that one day with your dream physique and you're going to find beauty in it. You're going to be nostalgic of it. Because it's just, there's something about overcoming something that you didn't even think you could do that just makes hindsight nostalgic. When you don't believe you can do something and you do it, and then you look back at all the failures and all those bad times, those hard times you had, you get nostalgic because those are the times that bred the success that you have now. It's beautiful. There's truly beauty in the struggle. There truly is. You see my journey right here. I mean, I remember taking this picture on the left when I was like all-time low. I was like so fat. This is me at like my fattest. And this is me at the start of my journey. And this is me, I don't know, maybe like 6 months into my journey. And then this is me about 2 years into the gym. And then this was me like a month ago. Time flies, bro. And number 24, this one's the deepest one. And this one's the most targeted towards the former version of Daniel. Where should I put my face? I'll put it right here. The respect you're looking for is from self-respect. The respect you're looking for is self-respect. And now, Daniel, you probably won't understand this right now because you don't understand what self-respect truly feels like. But imagine the respect you have for that one popular dude or that one, athlete or that, whoever you have a ton of respect for. Imagine you feeling that truly deep-rooted about yourself. And understand that the respect that you have for yourself right now is extremely low. And you don't respect yourself because you have no reason to. Because you're constantly running from self-development and you're constantly noticing disrespect and receiving disrespect from the world. And it's causing this buildup of internal frustration. And you like to just blame the world and say, why is everyone so mean? Why was I born like this? But the true reason you're frustrated is because you keep running and numbing that pain with video games and junk food, and you keep living this cycle where you wake up in the morning, you feel that disrespect, you feel like a loser, you feel like dehumanized, and then you go home and numb the pain and restart the cycle. Every day you run from the self-development, which you're confident, which you know will give you the respect and the fulfillment and the purpose and the confidence you're looking for. Self-development is the only way. Success is the only way. Develop yourself. That is the only way. It's the best revenge. But once you do it, you're not going to want revenge. The people that are making fun of you right now, I don't want to get revenge on them. I pity them. Genuinely. I do. And I'm speaking to the former version of Daniel here. The people, I'm thinking about the same people you're thinking about, Daniel. The people who are bullying you right now, who are making you feel dehumanized, who make you go home and imagine you fighting them or go over in your head hundreds of times of what you're going to say tomorrow, of how you're going to say something that's going to embarrass them or make them feel ashamed or at least make them feel as embarrassed as you feel when they make fun of you. You're not going to want to. You're going to develop yourself. You're going to become the man, and then you're going to pity them. You're going to feel bad for them because you won't even be able to fathom having that much hate in your heart to the fact where you want to cause that sort of pain for other people, because your heart will just be so filled with love. And that's not to say you won't remember what it felt like. You're just going to be more mature. And anyways, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one and you want to have this one-on-one coaching experience with the guidance, the accountability, and everything like that, you can book a call with me in the description. There's no guarantee that I can work with you, because I only work with certain people, and I'm pretty selective. I only work with like 15 people a month or so, just because I don't want to spread myself too thin. But if you're really serious about changing your life, you found this video helpful, book a call with me. We can chop it up. We can build a game plan, and we'll be good to go. I'll catch you guys on the next one.